Cleopatra, the last queen of Egypt, a symbol of power and beauty. Yet her death in 31 BC remains a mystery. Did she die from a snakebite, commit suicide, or was it a political assassination? Let's dive into this week's episode of History's Mysteries. In the summer of 32 BC, Cleopatra's forces clashed with those of Octavian, aka Augustus, the first emperor of Rome, in the naval battle near Alexandria. Although the battle was mostly indecisive, it was a tactical victory for Octavian. With their ships damaged, Cleopatra and her fleet had to retreat. But she was determined not to make it easy for Octavian. That very night, she fled with 60 warships, pillaging on merchant ships carrying supplies to the Roman army. It was the beginning of a chain of events that would turn the tide against Cleopatra and ultimately lead to her tragic and mysterious death. By September, Octavian's forces had blockaded the harbor of Alexandria. Cleopatra's navy was decimated, her treasure fleets destroyed, and her advisors urging her to surrender. But rather than submit to Octavian, some say Cleopatra took her own life. Others claim that she was betrayed, and still others that she was assassinated. The truth, however, is shrouded in mystery. Let's start with the most popular version of events. According to Plutarch, a Greek historian who lived from 46 to 120 AD, Cleopatra learned that her lover, Antony, had taken his own life after believing that Cleopatra had died. Devastated by this news, she locked herself in her bedroom with only a maid for company. There are two versions of what happened next. In the first one, Cleopatra instructed her maid to bring her a fruit basket and told her to leave. Once the maid departed, Cleopatra lifted the basket to her arm and allowed a venomous asp to bite her. The second version states that the asp was concealed inside a vase of flowers, and that when Cleopatra reached inside to grab one of the blossoms, the angry serpent lashed out and bit her. The Egyptian queen then fell to the ground, moaning softly before fainting, and she never woke again. But why did Cleopatra allow herself to be bitten? Perhaps in her despair, she saw no other option. Plutarch wrote that Cleopatra was so distraught at Antony's death that she believed life was unworth living. Maybe she did want to live in a world without him, or perhaps she felt that surrendering to Octavian would be a fate worse than death. Whatever the reason, she chose to end her own life rather than be taken captive. However, that's not the only explanation historians have put forward. Some believe that the story about the asp was concocted to cover up the real cause of Cleopatra's death. After all, there are several accounts that mention her being wounded by a sharp instrument. In the 1st century, the Roman philosopher Pliny the Younger wrote that Cleopatra was killed by a wound inflicted by a golden hairpin. Another version says that she used a hollow-handled axe to take her own life. Either way, these accounts cast doubt on the snake theory. Archaeologists who excavated Cleopatra's tomb in the 19th century also failed to find any evidence of a snakebite. There was no trace of snake venom in her bones and no visible wounds, which would have been visible during the autopsy performed by the Roman physician Cornelius Balbus, who declared that Cleopatra died by her own hand. Many people began to suspect that she may have been assassinated or that her death was part of a greater political conspiracy. Unfortunately, we may never know for sure what really happened to her. All we can do is speculate based on the limited historical evidence available to us. So what do you think happened to Cleopatra? Was she the victim of foul play, or did she take her own life? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like and subscribe for more videos like this. We've got plenty more where that came from. If you enjoyed this episode of History's Mysteries, check out more content. You can watch all our videos early and ad-free. Start watching now.